All right, Shalom. I want to first start off giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Abadia from the GMS Houston camp, and I got a quick video. I want to go into this article from the news source Fortune, the business section of the news source Fortune, and then I'm gonna hit a couple of, or maybe a few scriptures, filter those scriptures through this article, pretty much based upon the title that we see here. I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. It says billionaire investor Carl, I think it's Icahn, I could be saying it wrong, warns the worst is yet to come for investors, and compares U.S. inflation to the fall of the Roman Empire. And that's correct, because there's many videos, if you go on the YouTube, that shows the parallels between America and the Roman Empire, or America and Rome, just interchangeable, you know. America and Rome, or American the Roman Empire, okay. And it's because America really America and the its allies is the Roman Empire coming back. Okay, as our apostle, starting with our apostle Tahar, taught us, you know, which makes perfect sense. According to the scriptures, America is the revised Roman Empire, or the Roman Empire reincarnated, so to speak. Okay, and we're gonna get into some scriptures here in a minute to show that through scriptures. But first, let's read this article, and let me see. It's so it's kind of lengthy. I'm not gonna read this whole article. Matter of fact, you know what I'll do? I'm not even gonna read the whole. I'm not even gonna read the whole article. I'm gonna read some of it, but this is pretty lengthy, so I'll leave this in the description box, if I can remember to do so. Let's get into it. It says, throughout 2022, Wall Street has repeatedly warned investors that a recession could be on its way. From J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon, Damien, however you say that, to former Federal Reserve officials, the world's top economic minds have pointed practically in unison to the storm of headwinds facing the global economy, and expressed fears about potential for serious downturns. It says in the U.S., consumers are grappling with near 40-year high inflation and rising interest rates, all while the world struggles to cope with the war in Ukraine, the European energy crisis, China's COVID-0 policies, and more. And even after a more than 21% drop in the S&P 500 this year, Wall Street's best minds still think stocks have further to fall. The worst is yet to come. Carl Icahn, who serves as the chairman of Icahn Enterprises and boasts a net worth of $23 billion, told MarketWatch at the Best New Ideas in Money Festival on Wednesday. Icahn made his name as a corporate raider on Wall Street in the 80s or 1980s, building up unloved. I'm messing this whole thing up. Buying up unloved companies and aggressively advocating for the change to improve shareholder value by appointing board members, selling assets, and firing employees. Even at 86, Icahn remains one of Wall Street's most respected minds. And this year, he has repeatedly warned the U.S. economy and stock market are in trouble. It says the investor argues the Federal Reserve boosted assets prices to unsustainable levels amid the pandemic using near zero interest rates and quantitative easing. And you go into that quantitative easing is just let's see what it got on it. I know what it means. What is quantitative easing and why is everybody so worked up about it? I'll just read. Let me see what the first paragraph says. It says the Federal Reserve lowered interest rates again last week for a third time this year, and that got the headlines. But beyond the headlines, there's an argument talking about taking place on Wall Street over whether another tool in the Fed's arsenal, quantitative easing, could help the economy by expanding into an 11th year, which also happens to be an election year. Let me go back on this. It probably got more to explain what it is, but quantitative easing is just printing pretty much no limit to spending for a particular period of time, something along those lines. Okay. Printing and dumping this, printing more and more money, so-called money, Federal Reserve notes, and pumping it into the economy where there's pretty much no limit for a particular period of time to ease the pressure on the economy. Matter of fact, let me do this real quick. All right, this is I'm getting a rough, so I could be on point. I don't want to go off on this definition. This is pretty much a loose definition of the phrase quantitative easing, QEs, the acronym QE. So it says quantitative easing right here. You can see it. This is off the Google. It says is quantitative easing, QE for short, is a monetary policy strategy used by central banks like the Federal Reserve. With QE, a central bank purchased securities in an attempt to reduce interest rates, increase the supply of money, and drive more lending to consumers. Drive more lending. What is that? Borrowing money to consumers and businesses. So printing up all this money and giving out these loans, so to speak, bailouts to people and to businesses, okay, to ease the pressure on the economy. Now let's go back to this article that I have. All right, and then we're gonna get into these scriptures, and I'm gonna close this video out. All right, here we go. It says, we printed up too much money and just thought the party would never end, he said, adding that with the Fed switching stance and raising rates to fight inflation, he now believes the party is over. And the party is over for this place. America is going down, just like the Roman Empire went down. Okay, and that is scriptural. And America really is just Rome reincarnated, or Rome, the revised Roman Empire, the more technologically advanced Roman Empire. So I'm gonna go right here in the scriptures, move this out the way. Go here to Revelation, the 13th chapter, And I'm gonna read and I'm not gonna go all into this breakdown. I'm just gonna make the point. But I will start from verse 1. It's Revelation 13:1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea. And this is all parabolic talk. It's not talking about an actual beast that John the Revelator saw rise up out of the sea. Okay? Because look what type of beast this is. It says, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And ultimately that's going into NATO and the EU, which America is a part of NATO. So it's America, NATO, and EU, in the EU. And during the time of the Roman Empire, they had their own. Well, this is where you get the concept, or the y'all just say the concept of NATO and the EU, the beast. It comes from the Roman Empire, Rome and its allies. Okay. So let's go into the second verse. It says, Revelation 13:2, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, going into the really going into the rise of the so-called white man in the power in the form of the Greek Empire. The leopard represents the Greek Empire, and his feet were as the feet of a bear. So this is not going into per se the beast, but it's going into the rise and the fall of the power structure of the so-called white man, which is Esau, Edom, according to the Bible, the Edomites. Okay. It says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. The rise, or the so-called white man coming into power, okay, for the first time on this planet Earth. And his feet were as the feet of a bear. Now, what's the icon? What nation has the icon or the animalistic mascot, so if you will, to represent its country or nation? Russia. Because Russia is going to be the key player in taking down the power structure of Edom, the beast. Mainly the head of the beast being America. Because we read in Revelation the 17th chapter, it talk about the woman that was this whore that rode upon a scarlet colored beast that had 7 heads and 10 horns. It's talking about the same beast. It says, so that's Russia. Russia is going to be the key player to take down itself, because Russia, they're Edomites. They're just not part of the beast. Okay, they're not part of the 7 heads and 10 horns, which is NATO and the EU. But they're going to be the key factor to take down the beast. Okay, it says, in his mouth as the mouth of a lion, which is going into Great Britain. It says, and the dragon gave him his power, the dragon being the Roman Empire, okay, and his seat and great authority, because they're coming in the likeness of the Roman Empire, this beast. And America came out of what? America came out of Great Britain. Now this is the point that I want to focus on. Revelation 13:3. And I saw one of his heads, one of the heads, because there's 7 heads, right? Was Rome as one of the 7 heads. Okay, you got Rome. Okay, you got, let's start with Greece. Start with Rome. You got Spain. You got Germania Major, Germania Minor, and France. Okay, and it says one of the heads. Let's read it again. And I saw one of his heads. The beast had 7 heads, right? One of them, as it were, wounded to death. and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. Now, what is this one head that was wounded to death? And they say, and his deadly wound was healed. It's talking about the Roman Empire being healed through America, and then America becoming a world force, okay, dominant world force through conquering its allies, okay, and expanding its power on the earth, his military and economic power, and that what we have today is NATO and the EU, okay. Now let's go to Revelation 13. We're going to stay in Revelation 13. And go to 12. It says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast. Okay, so let me read verse 13. Revelation 13 and 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. This beast right here is talking about America. And he had two horns like a lamb. The two horns represent this man's political party through its democratic process. The Democrats and the Republicans. The Democrats and the Republicans. Or the Democrats, I'm sorry, and the Republicans. Right? And he spake as a dragon, meaning the time that we're in, this man is about to bring out his draconian laws. Okay? Meaning, in a nutshell, extreme laws to the point where if the most minute offenses are going to be met with harsh punishments. Okay? And you can look up draconian law. Verse 12. Now we're going to get into verse 12. So it's talking about, the subject matter at this point is talking about America. Okay? It says, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, which is what? Rome, or the Roman Empire. Okay? Because this is, well, we're going to read it. Let's read it. It says, and he called it the earth, and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. Why? Because this is the same system that they are coming with, that we're currently up under. Okay, that's where you get the Senate from. The Senate comes from what? From Rome, the Roman Empire. The law, if you deal with law, okay, in this country and within the NATO and the EU, it goes back to Latin. The language goes back to Latin. Okay? Just to give some examples. And it says, whose deadly wound was healed. Meaning the first beast, his deadly wound that we read about in Revelation 13 and 3, the deadly wound, it was healed. Healed through what? When was the heal? Or well, let's ask this question. When did the healing start? The healing started during the time of the Renaissance period. Okay, mid to late 1300s and to the 1400s, the Renaissance period. The rebirth, which means rebirth. Rebirth of what? The rebirth of the Roman Empire. Okay? You even have the EU before it was the which stands for the European Union. Before it was called that, it was called the EEC, which stood for the European Economic Community, which that was established through it went from the EEC, the European Economic community to the Europe, EU, the European Union, and that thing was called, what was done there was called the Treaty of Rome. And you can look that up. Why is it called a Treaty of Rome? Because, like we read in the first part of this verse, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him. It says, and that's pretty much the point for this article that I brought out. The man compared, he said let me go to the title. He says, he compares this U.S. inflation to the fall of the Roman Empire. Because what was one of the key things or reasons why the Roman Empire fell? The debasement of their currency. Okay? They had their version of inflation, which is the printing of worthless money. Here in this time, back then they were mixing inferior metals. Okay, putting more and more of these this useless money into circulation, and it was useless because it had little to no precious metals in it, silver or gold. Okay, and you can look into that information. That's one example of it. Now let's go back to the scriptures. That was one of the main reasons why America fell. Why Rome fell, or the Roman Empire fell, was because of the debasement of its currency. They had their own version of inflation. Now let's go here. I'm gonna end this video right here. Now, yeah, the Roman Empire was healed. Remember, it was wounded, but it was healed. But it's going to ultimately be destroyed. This place is going down. Okay? That's why I'm bringing this out. Jeremiah 51:8. Babylon, which is right here, is talking about America, is suddenly falling and destroyed. You see? What's one of the main reasons why this place is going to fall? Because of its economics, which stands for household management. The way that they've managed money, which is based upon credit, setting up this credit-based system, it's all going to blow up in their face. Okay? It says, how for her, take balm for her pain, if so, if so, she may be healed. All right. Now, how is this place trying to heal itself? Through the government. How is the government trying to heal this place? Through QEs, quantitative easing. Okay, bailouts. But it's not healed, and we heard it from the mouth of that article. Okay, that billionaire. He said he's comparing this U.S. inflation to the downfall of the Roman Empire. So this place won't be healed. It was healed for a purpose and for a period of time. Okay, and that time is up. Now, Lord willing, this video was edifying, and to the next one, I say shalom.